right. I'm going to call the meeting to order. This is the regular work session meeting for June 3rd, 2024, Minnetrista. Present this evening, myself, Lisa Whalen, the mayor, and council members present are Kathleen Refkin, Ann McGregor, Peter Vickery, Claudia Lacey, and then staff present is Director of Public Works, Gary Peters, Director of Administration, Ellie Pulfus, and Finance Director, Brian Grimm. We're going to be talking about the franchise agreement with Midco or Mid-Continent Communications. We're going to be talking about Lakeside Networks Water Tower Lease Agreement. And then we're not going to we're going to remove number 4, and then we're going to move on to number 5, which is City Code, Temporary Liquor License Background Requirement, and then number 6, Update on City Council Chambers AV Equipment. So I'll start with Allie.
You'll end with me, too.
Yeah.
Thank you. So Midco approached the city requesting to enter into a franchise agreement to provide video and internet service to the entire city. City staff, Mayor Whalen, and Councilmember McGregor met with Midco representatives the other week and discussed the possibility of entering in an agreement so they can provide internet to the entire city and in turn video and phone services. The city currently has an active cable franchise agreement with Mediacom, which was renewed in 2023 for an additional 7 years. Although the franchise agreement with Mediacom is non-exclusive, the franchise agreement with Midco would have to be the same terms and conditions. So there are some summary notes in your memo from our discussion the other week. And if council is agreeable, staff recommends pursuing a franchise agreement with Midco. We would work closely with Bob Bose, I don't know what exactly he's called, but cable attorney, on working on a franchise agreement, although they might begin construction sooner, because the construction they would start with would be the internet services, and then the franchise agreement would be for the cable services. So we're just looking for direction on if you move forward, we recommend doing so.
Yep. So also we found out, so we went to this meeting prepared that they were going to ask us for money. And so I had kind of greased the skids a little bit and talked with Kevin Anderson, our county commissioner, and said, do you think there's any more money left and we could get some? Because I think they're going to ask us for money. Guess what? They didn't ask us for money. They and Ann is like, this is too good to be true. And we're like, wow, okay.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and they're talking about a 2-year build-out, a complete, everywhere in the city.
Literally.
Wow.
The whole city.
I asked about the
everywhere.
one address that is completely unserved, and they're like, yep, that's in our construction plan. So they will build out all homes in Minnetrista.
Yeah, and then the homes that already have internet, they can also then hook up to cable and phone too.
Or vice versa.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or so you can do internet, or you can do just internet, or you can do all three, or you can pick and choose. Mm-hmm. So they don't have to do anything more for the existing homes that are currently on Midco. Wow. Just as soon as we get the franchise agreement, then they can offer them the other ones, the cable and the phone.
Yep.
So we were really excited.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Did they explain why they were eager to?
Well, I think it's really based off their project they did here last year and the success of it. I think they have like a 70% take rate, which is like unheard of for these build-outs, because usually you're competing against a different company. But I asked them, I was like, are you concerned that people aren't going to take you over Mediacom? And they said, no, we're not concerned. So.
They're not concerned about Mediacom.
And it doesn't matter much to us, their profit. I hope they do well, but, I think they will.
And they did say they liked working with us.
Yes, and vice versa.
Yeah.
They're way better.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
So any comments, or we're good to go then?
Let's do it.
All right. All right.
Yeah, so we'll work with Bob Bose. I know Jasper's been in contact with him and bring a franchise agreement at a business item. I don't know how quick, but...
I think they already have it. I think Bob already has it.
Swap out Mediacom and put Midco.
Well, Midco will have to...
I don't know what the legal teams do.
Their attorneys will look at it, too, and make sure that they're okay with it, too. I think that the only sticking thing was possibly time frame, because they were looking for about a 10-year. And we said, well, we have a 7-year with Mediacom, so we weren't sure if that time frame had to match up.
Yeah, I think they were checking in on if that specific term has to match.
Right.
Contract to contract.
Right.
So, but yeah, that will be brought back at a future meeting then.
All right. And then next is Lakeside Networks.
Yeah, so kind of piggybacking off the previous item, Lakeside Networks has been contacting me for a few months requesting an additional water tower lease agreement for installation of their equipment on the Highway 7 water tower to serve the surrounding areas. They are requesting the same terms and conditions of their agreement for the Sunnyfield Road water tower, which includes the $10,000 city-paid stipend, I guess you could call it, for inspections. When this was originally approved, the city council was looking to incentivize providers to serve our residents, hence the $10,000 stipend. Now with Midco's build out and MetroNet is actually building out the Hunters Crest neighborhood too, staff recommends approving an agreement with Lakeside Networks for the lease agreement without the $10,000 site inspections. I know our cable fund is dwindling, especially with the AV equipment. So, I mean, if they're willing to go on the tower without that $10,000, I don't see why not, but I don't know if they would be. But there will be 2 pretty good providers in that area, 3 with MediaCom. So I don't know if it's
lost if they don't try to.
Correct.
basically.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a lot of admin work to that whole process from agreement approval to service available is a lot of. I know Gary works with right-of-way permits, and it's just it's admin time, but we'd be fine with that if that's what they wanted. So I don't know if we'd say no, you can't have a water tower lease agreement, but
I would say they can have a water tower lease
Right.
agreement, but I don't think we're going to pay the $10,000 or give them a 10,000 credit or whatever that is.
That's what I'd recommend. Yeah.
Right.
That makes sense.
Right.
When did they finally go on the Sunnyfield Road Tower? 'Cause I
So-
feel like
It
you guys
took a
asked
long
me to-
time.
2023. Well, AT&T had to do a construction on all the railings, which took forever.
Oh.
So it to their credit, it was not their fault. It
Okay,
was
okay.
because all the equipment from the tower had to get removed, then get back on, and all the inspections. So it was, I think it was 2 years. They
AT&T had priority over town, so
Oh.
they pay a lot of money for it. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for the
a
record,
lot of money.
for the record, I have to wonder if AT&T didn't do that on purpose because you know that you can now get AT&T internet here.
No, AT&T was just slow getting going. We didn't realize, they came after our tower was repainted and said that, oh, we need to upgrade our antennas.
Okay.
So we need a bigger rail.
Yeah.
So they're paying for everything. We are actually just finalizing everything with them. They paid for the whole new railing, all the upgrade, all the refabrication up there. And they have to paint the inside of the tower, which they can do wet, which is good. They're paying for all that. So.
But I guess to answer your question, they went live earlier this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Are we in agreement then? Okay. And then
Anything else?
the next one is City Code temporary license, liquor license background requirements.
Yeah. So as some of you know, our application process for liquor licenses, both temporary and ongoing, is an overly time-consuming process when it doesn't need to be. So our city code, specifically for temporary liquor license, doesn't specify whether a background investigation is required, but the city's past practice has been to perform them for the applicants of these temp licenses. There is no state requirement to complete a background check for applicants, and these licenses are typically issued, or they are always issued, to nonprofit groups for recurring events. So to do a background investigation on them every single year gets just overly time consuming. So City Attorney Sinsala drafted language to add into the city code stating that the temporary liquor licenses no longer require a background check per staff's recommendation. So if council is agreeable, this is on your business agenda for tonight.
Okay.
So like if we were hiring the Lions or the Rotary to,
Correct.
we don't have to, yeah, they complained about how lengthy our application was.
It is. And Ann's been working on, even with this renewal process, she's been working on kind of condensing it. I don't know why we've had so many documents required when all you need is the certificate of insurance, the state application, and a buyer's card. That's all you really need. So I
Okay.
don't see any downside to this.
Yeah.
That's great.
Were there any other questions regarding the ordinance? Otherwise-
And the council can still request one if we think it's of public interest. You
Yeah.
know, if someone comes who we've never heard of them, or, you know, we can perform a background investigation check if we want to.
But they really don't pay for it either, because I think the license is only $40.
$40.
And a lot of times, number of times we kind of waive that $40 too, so we really don't get anything for these temporary liquor licenses. So
Right. And
Yeah.
we perform those in-house. Our police department does that, and it does take a while.
yeah,
So.
right.
It was the Tonka Lions that did the Christmas. They said they wouldn't do it again because our paperwork is so long, and that Mounds was.
Oh,
2
I talked to
pages.
the Tonka Lions. They're super excited
Well,
to do
they-
it
they-
again.
Before this is what
Yeah.
Steve Johnson told me. He said we'll never fill this out again.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but I'm sure they had a fabulous time and
Yeah.
said yes, we'll be back.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but
It
they
is
were
a
not
nightmare.
happy about that length.
It's a staff nightmare, too.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just been past practice, I guess.
No,
so.
to simplify things, that's for staff as well as the applicant. I think
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
And then update on City Council Chambers AV equipment.
Yeah, this is short and sweet. At the last meeting, as you know, staff requested a budget of $15,000 or under to replace our failing video recording system in here. And so Jasper has put together a plan for under $11,000, and he's looking for direction on how to proceed.
Can you explain a little bit about?
I don't know a whole lot. I do know he's going to get one big monitor to replace the
Right. Screen.
What's that called? Projector.
Screen.
Yeah.
Well, it's a screen. I know it's ancient and probably before your time, so you know.
They don't even repair this equipment anymore. So replace that. We'll get 2 new cameras and a laptop, and then what will likely happen is we will have a go-to-meeting webinar that I'm kind of conducting in the background, and that's how we now record the meeting, is what we're hoping. So we are hopeful we may be able to get rid of our media company as well, which is some savings there, but that would be the goal if all turns out okay. But I'm no AV expert. So.
No, but I can't remember what size he was looking at. It's pretty big. Do you know, Gary, what size?
I was going to say
Okay.
80 to 90.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty big.
My staff will run all the cabling and stuff. We'll
Yeah.
do everything.
Okay.
We'll get everything prepped for it. So.
Yeah.
And the other thing that'll be nice is staff, especially like Sarah, you know, they can actually be participating via internet or via GoToMeeting, whatever it
Right.
is.
And even like Jasper tonight, he could be here
Right.
still. Now he can't, but so yeah, that's what we're hoping for.
Right.
There will be a cost to the GoToMeeting webinar. I don't know what that. Do you know what that is per year?
Oh,
It's
just our monthly subscription.
2,000 or something.
2,000?
No, it's not a month.
We
No, it's
don't
a
have
year.
subscription
Oh,
already.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
But that, we just have GoToMeeting. We need the webinar portal
Oh,
to record and stuff,
yeah, 'cause the
which is
Go-
a little more.
The go-to-meeting was only like, I don't even
It's
know.
like $30 a month.
Yeah,
or
it was like
something
30, but
like
it's
that.
just going to be more like $100, $200 a month maybe.
That's what it sounded
Okay.
like. Yeah.
Okay.
So why aren't we just putting it on YouTube?
We-
will, but
we
need to
do.
record it.
I know, but
It is on YouTube.
right, but I don't know. I don't understand the $2,000 a year part. What?
It probably has to do with hard software, whatever.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
So that's the software we would use right now. I mean, we pay our media company $800 almost a month to do the editing and the
Yeah,
uploading
this is
of
the
it.
webinar.
So,
Editing. What is the
This is
edit?
the webinar process.
so you have to clip. So we're recording throughout, and I usually start it a little early, end a little late. So he has to clip that, and then he has to do all like the camera rotations throughout the meeting. So he'll direct it at the podium. If Gary's speaking, he'll direct it at Gary. So that's what the guy back there is doing, is operating the meeting.
Right.
That will then switch to me back here somewhere doing that. But hopefully with these new cameras, you won't need to rotate or anything. It'll just capture it all.
So yeah, we should be able, like you're saying, save about, $700-800 a month we paid to Island Media right now.
Oh, I think we
That's-
pay more than that, don't we?
Oh,
No,
that's
it's about
I thought it was
like-
$1,200 a month.
No, it's about
Oh,
like
$700?
$350-400.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I guess 800 times, it's $5,000-6,000 bucks. So
Yeah.
So instead of having a camera that's just facing at all of us, we're paying that much money so it can go like this to who's ever speaking.
Yeah, don't
Right.
you hear it moving
Now I
when it
get
moves
it.
during the meeting? You can hear it moving.
Get the close-ups and stuff.
Well, these analog systems are really expensive. So I think back in the day, this was a big upgrade. You know, wow, you got a swivel camera and, you know, someone to run the meeting, but now it's getting, you know, trying to just move a little forward.
So when you say 2 cameras, is that going to be sufficient? Do they capture audience or only this direction?
So I think he'll put one there.
Okay.
And then another one, you know, to replace one of these 2.
Okay.
So that will capture the podium.
Okay.
And then that will capture council and staff.
And is it maybe it's wider angle too?
It
I'm
must be.
guessing.
I don't know real details on what he picked out. He's
Okay.
kind of the IT
Yeah.
specialist on that one, so I'm not entirely sure, but
Okay.
I trust him. He does a good job.
Yeah.
with
Well,
that
I'm
sort of
impressed
stuff.
you got it down from 60,000 to 10,000.
Right? Talk
Right?
about a decrease in
I
cost.
think that's very
He did want a huge screen in the middle,
He
and
did.
Allie and I nixed that.
I didn't know that prior to the meeting. I'm like,
And like,
what are you doing?
so there was one, and it was a dual, so it faced this way and that way, and it was coming down in the center. And I said, "What?" I said, "No way, no way."
I understand his vision. Gary Zero.
And Allie and I both said, "No." And then he was talking about 2 screens up here. I said, "Just get one big screen." And
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah. And then anyone who's participating, you'll be able to obviously see them and
Right.
hear them, hopefully.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's just a lot of playing MacGyver.
Right. So,
Okay, well, I'll tell him to proceed.
Yep.
Okay.
This should be good for like 5+ years, right? Or was that what you were thinking? Or
Let's
at
hope
least-
so.
or 3 to
Everything
5 to
should
7
be good
years or
for,
something?
yeah. 5 years is what they say, even for like laptops and stuff like that.
so eventually, if we ended up saving 5,000 or 6,000 a year,
Yeah.
I mean, we do have to add. Well, we wouldn't save 6, but we would save maybe 3 or 4,000 a year because of the cost to do the video. But in 2 years or 3 years, you'd have it paid for.
Right, and even now, like, our equipment is so expensive to replace it or repair it is, you know, to replace one of those cameras is like $8,000.
Yeah.
Like, now we're talking about $1,000 little camera. So it's just a little easier to piecemeal a repair if something were to happen.
Although everything changes in 5 years, so you
Right,
don't know
that's
what's
true.
going to happen
That's
there
true.
either. But
Okay.
all right. Anything else? Wow, that was fast.
It is record fast, I think.
All right, then with that, we can be adjourned.
One thing.
I'm sorry.
Gary's going to give an update on trees.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I didn't know if you were going to do that now or if you were going to do that during the council staff update. Either way.
Ms. Repkin wanted it now, so that's fine. So, yeah, we did get everything removed at Turtle Creek Center Islands. There was 19 trees removed. We replanted 12 of them. We also ordered at the same time, we ordered trees for Jean Lanier Park and all the planting bed shrubs for that for in there. 2 trees went to boulevard trees that had died in Hunter's Crest, and we also planted trees in Perennial Park and redid one of the beds there. So there's a $14,000 or like $14,500 that you see in the claims. $72,10 of that is for the Turtle Creek, and the $73.54 is for the Jean Lanier Park. The 5 trees went up by the picnic table up there to help. We'd never had trees in there to help that. We put some up in the hill, but the lilacs, we planted 80 lilacs in there to try to get screening between County Road 44 and the playground, and then for the neighbors to the south, we had taken out a bunch of the dead pine trees and really opened it up there, so we put up so we get screening in there. So
Nice. Okay.
so, yeah, they were really happy with that. And just kind of give you an update. Last week it was terrible. We had 17, or we had calls for 17 trees in right-of-way that have died. 2 maples, but a lot of them were ash and elms that are diseased and dying. So Sunnybrook Lane, we got 3 ash right now. They're in the right-of-way. I have been informing people we're not going to be replanting them there, so, and they're fine with that. Loring, we had 2 maples and an ash in one residence. We had 5 dead elms on the bend going up around the cul-de-sac, and then up on that land that we own above the wall, we've got 3 more ash trees that are going to have to come down there. So I had 2 ash and an elm there. Hard scrabble, we've got 1 in the fire lane, which is an ash that's going to have to come down. There's another one in the right-of-way. It's the first house that you come in, it's going to come down. Two in the nature preserve area right in the right-of-way that we're just going to push them over and into the, well, that's what they want. So,
Oh, okay.
Good habitat. We'll just push them over. But unfortunately, we're going to see a lot more
Right.
the calls coming in for ash trees. If you drive around, they're dead everywhere or dying. And I mean, I lost one in my backyard this year. I had to treating it. It was too late.
Yeah.
I must have started too late, and it's terrible. Well, we lost. They froze out here. I mean, if you notice, we have one really nice Crimson King, and the other one died. It was budding, and we think it got too cold because it budded so early, and it froze out. So, and our crab apples aren't doing so good out there either. They're not hardly blooming. So,
Wow.
it might be they might have the scourge
Cedar
on it already, but
rest. Yeah, cedar rest. Mm-hmm.
so we'll see. But yeah, unfortunately, I think it's just going to see more and more calls for both the elms and especially the ash trees.
And then I think we're working, or Sarah's working on the maintenance agreement with Turtle Creek for
Yep,
the.
we're finalizing
yeah.
that. She sent us a copy of it. We sent her all the needed information. Nick is going to get her some information on the specific legal terms for the areas. We'll bring that to you guys to get that approved, and then we'll send it to them. They know it's coming, so.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And it'll be their responsibility from here on out.
from here on
100%.
out, it'll be their
Yeah.
responsibility for everything
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And they're happy with those trees, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. Good.
Gary, I thought that we weren't going to replant trees in Turtle Creek, that you were going to look for shrubs or something more.
We tried to talk them into it. We removed 19. They wanted all the trees back in. We ended up just putting the trees in. I said everything else is on them. They wanted us to put shrubs and move stuff. I'm like, nope. I said all we're doing is we removed the ones and we put them in, and that was it. So they weren't exactly tickle pink with what was left there because there's a lot of tree roots sticking up and stuff. But I said that's on you guys. I mean, we took out the bulk of them. So 19 trees. If you figure the average tree is going to be, if they had to hire somebody to come in, it'd be at least $800 a tree.
Oh, at least, yeah.
So to
Yeah.
remove them, I mean, we saved them a pretty good chunk of money. So
And we said
they
we'd
can't
be
complain.
happy to plant trees, even though, Gary, as long as they are now responsible for them. See, if we had to be responsible for them, we wouldn't put trees back in.
Nope.
Okay.
But we said, if you, then you have to sign this agreement that you're responsible to maintain them and replace them down the road. So that's why we're going to do this agreement.
Yeah, it's just like we have that everywhere else that have center island. When the cul-de-sacs have the decorative center islands,
Right.
that has it in there, and the ones at Woodland Cove where they have them. I mean, it's all have agreements already. This one never did. So if I had my way, they'd all be gone, and we wouldn't have a center island anywhere. But
You
we call
really
them-
don't
we call
like
them California
trees, do
cul-de-sacs.
you?
They don't work good in the winter. So,
Shame on you.
well, I like trees and plants, just not.
He just doesn't want
In
to
the
consider,
middle.
he doesn't want to
It's
Center
like on the
Islands.
boulevards instead
He
of
doesn't like
islands.
Center Islands, and actually, I understand.
Okay. Any other staff updates?
Nope.
Okay.
Next time I'll maybe just give a sneak preview on if we're gonna talk a little budget levy, just at least some real preliminary stuff.
Okay.
It's worked pretty well the last couple of years, I think, to get the
Yeah.
council's thoughts up front and
Okay.
parameters, goals,
Wow,
etc.
it's
So
June already.
I know it is, right?
I
So
know.
the calendar's starting to flip. So
Yeah.
so that'll be on the work session next time. One of the items.
Okay.
just at least, so.
And then, well, I think we're going to be talking about the public hearing notice distance. We'll talk about that on the 17th as well.
Yep, that one's I think
Yeah.
on there too.
We thought we'd put that next time in lieu of this other issue that's before us at the regular meeting. So, and then anything else coming up? Do you know?
I just got the work session pulled up. Then it's
Okay.
maybe the commission reappointment policy discussion. Is that maybe? I don't know. That's
I
maybe.
think that might be a placeholder.
Is that a placeholder?
That's a
Okay, so
placeholder.
that's
I don't know if it's
okay.
firmed
Forget
up
I even
yet.
said that.
Well, we don't have a lot of people chomping at the bit to applying. So that's
the
kind
one,
of a.
the item that got removed from tonight will likely come back on the 7th.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
said. That'll
Yeah.
come back,
So
and
I
then the
think those two are
budget.
there right now, or the budget.
Those
Yeah.
So
two.
that
Yeah.
budget could take a little while, depending on what council
Yeah.
wants to talk about,
Okay.
I guess.
But the Hennepin County thing will be good. So, all right, that's on our agenda later on. Okay, then with that, we can be adjourned. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Miss Claudia. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Peter. There you go. All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes 5-0. And we'll be back at 7. You'll have an hour.